A very happy afternoon on a pleasant day from Bangalore, the Indusviva Special Learning and Intervention Center. Friends, we are into 2021. 1 week has gone by. So I am here as the director of the center, going to be speaking to you on a very important topic. Can you guess what it is? It's something that all of us end up doing during our lifetime. Can you guess what it is? A very important thing. No guesses? Okay, that's parenting. Yes, we all become parents. We aspire, we dream to become parents. And we want to bring up children in a very nice way. But the question is, are we able to do it? So I'm going to be talking to you the next 15 minutes about what is parenting, how we can go about without hassles and do it in a very, very smooth manner. Now the question is, are there any classes? Are there any courses for parenting? Does somebody teach us what is parenting? The answer is no. Parenting is an art. Yes. It's not just a modeled behavior. It's an art. There are some parents who are very, very successful. And how does that show? When they are successful, their children grow up into successful young achievers. I'm sure every parent wants that. I wish to quote William Wordsworth, who wrote a poem called My Heart Leaps in 1802. Quote, "Child is the father of man." Unquote. What does this mean? Is a child a kind of role model for his parents? Is he teaching something to the parents? Or is it that the child learns things which he becomes what he is when he grows up? Well, dears, for me, as a psychologist, I would look at the former answer. A child is nothing but a father to man. Every one of us have to learn a lot from children. So let's look at what is parenting. Are we parenting just by using trial and error method? Yes, most of us parents would say yes, because nobody teaches us. There are no ready-made notes. There are no modules to tell us what is right, what is wrong. There are no guidelines to. Fine. If we are successful, we are happy. If something goes wrong, then we wonder what happened. Let me start with a little example. Children are like clay. They can be modeled or they can be shaped in the right direction. It all starts from the womb. When the mother is pregnant, that is where parenting starts. The mother's thoughts, the mother's feelings, emotions, the interactions between the husband and wife is going to impact the child. So parenting starts in the womb. Now my question to all young parents today, are we actually invisible assailants? Are we killing the potentials of our kids at birth unknowingly? Are we unknowingly murderers? That's my question. Yes, many of us are. Because we simply want to push our thoughts, our ideas, our dreams onto the child. This starts the moment the child is made. The mother has a set of dreams. Oh, I wanted to become this, so my child should become this. Father says, oh, I want it to be like this. This goes on. So are we allowing the child to come up with his own potentials? See, remember one thing, everybody comes with their own potentials. There's something called dignity of labor. In the US, for example, A parent may be a scientist, but the child may choose to be just a driver. But they accept it. He may decide to be a painter. They accept it. On the contrary, in India, what happens? There'll be a hue and cry. A scientist's son can only become a scientist. A doctor's son should be a doctor. I'm sure you all watched that movie, Three Idiots. That conveys the same message. Children become totally stressed up. They feel miserable when they are pushed into something which they don't like. Are we sensitive to that? We have to. From the time a child is born, you need to be a very aware and active parent. Not just feed them, not just put them to sleep and say, okay, my job is done. Because whatever you do or whatever you inculcate in your child is what the child is going to be when they grow up. Give them the freedom, give them the space to shape up, respect them, love them unconditionally. Then they become very different. Fine. Are there styles to parenting? Yes. Psychologists say there are 3 important styles of parenting. What are they? Assertive parenting, aggressive parenting, submissive parenting. I'm sure all of you would have got an idea which is the best parenting style. Can you guess? Yes, it is the assertive parenting. Aggressive and submissive parents are actually creating psychopathology. I have seen parents just pampering their kid because they are not able to manage them. They are submissive. They give anything and everything that the child wants. That's bad. And that's more so with the digital devices today. I see parents giving gadgets like mobiles and iPads and notepads and so many other things, or TV, just to keep the child satisfied. That's the first step towards disaster, let me tell you. Your child is going to get addicted to it, and later on you have a lot of behavioral issues, and then you come to a psychologist like me and say, what do we do, ma'am? So please be careful. The second, if you are an aggressive parent, yesteryears people would say, spare the rod and spoil the child. If you don't hit the child will get spoiled. Should it be that way always? I don't think so. As your child grows, you need to respect. He needs to be a friend to you. There should be something called co-regulation. What does co-regulation mean? When you discipline a child, you can't do it one way. You have to get the consent of the child. The child has to be made to understand why it is wrong and why you are punishing him or rewarding him. That should be done very clearly. So dear friends, parenting is a big skill. If you cannot be a successful parent, it's a responsibility, lifelong, let me tell you. If you cannot be a successful parent, if you cannot take the responsibility, please don't have a child. Because when you contribute a sick child, meaning not physically, mentally sick child to the society, you're doing more harm than good. A couple of weeks ago, there was this news in the paper where a young son of 27 had hacked his father. Now, whom do we blame? Why did he turn out to be a murderer? Is it him or is it the parents? Where did it start? You would say peers. It's not just peers. Home is the first university. Home and family is the first education. Parents are the first teachers. So you have to be very, very careful in how you handle a child. Each child is different. Our 5 fingers are not the same. So if you have 2 kids, they may not be the same. You have to handle them differently. You have to be patient. You have to respect them. You have to give them unconditional love. Don't be judgmental. Now, with this general introduction, I'm just going to share with you some important tips for successful parenting as a psychologist. What are these tips? Well, I was telling you that there are some important tips we could share with you as mental health professionals in being good parents. I'm going to share them with you. What are they? 1. Be an assertive parent. Don't be an aggressive parent, nor should you be a submissive parent. Got it? Right. Be a friend to your child whenever he requires. This is second point I wish to tell you. Third point, co-regulation is important when you discipline your child. Just don't push your thoughts onto the child. Just don't simply say, no, I'm not going to give you this. You're punished because you did this. Explain to the child why it is wrong. 4. Let them grow as forest plants. Don't make them home plants. What do we mean by this? Home plants are tended to all the time. Groomed. Over-tending and grooming is bad for kids. Have you seen a forest? How do the seeds get pollinated? How do they spread? And how do they grow into beautiful plants or trees? Give them that space. Find out what is special in your child. Every child is a gift of God. So that's the 4th tip I give you. 5th, don't showcase your child. You know, one common mistake that parents make is when guests or relatives come home, they want to show off their child. They call the child and say, come on, tell this nursery rhyme or tell this story, sing. Please don't do that unless and until the child wants to do it, because you're forcing something. The child may not want to do it. I used to do a set of workshops for pediatricians all over the country for about 10 years. And the title of that workshop was The Little Adult. Cracking the kid's code. Every child has a code. Every child has a little mind of its own. Child may be small, but the mind is active. Please remember that. So don't showcase, don't throw your ideas onto the child. Don't dream what you want through the child. That is wrong. The 6th one, which I want to very strongly emphasize, is when your children are growing, it's very important to teach them sex education. I'm not saying that you have to be very open and talk about everything, but you have to tell it in such a way that a child understands what it is. Because many psychiatric conditions come up in adult life because the sexuality and sex are not properly addressed. There are no proper sexual attitudes or values, more so in Indian countries like India, because sex is a taboo here. Another question, finance, money. Money management is a big issue for many children. They either splurge the money, throw it, and many parents say, oh, they don't have responsibility, they don't have values, they don't have ethics. But who gives them those values and ethics? You have to teach your child all about money, value of money, how to spend money, how to save money when they are young. This is extremely important. If you want your child to be happy, mature, and a grown-up adult, this you must do. As I said, personalities begin in the womb. They don't come later. People think personalities are made after the child is born. No. So the mother's experiences throughout the 9 months and 5 days is very important. Very, very important. Learn to shape your mind to be a good parent, and your baby is connecting with you every second, every minute. Babies can understand your thoughts and your feelings even within your womb. So your parenting starts there. Don't push things down their throat later on. Children do make mistakes. Even we made a lot of mistakes. So, whenever a child makes a mistake, don't make them feel guilty. Try to settle them amicably. Don't punish them. Don't make them guilty. I've seen parents keep saying, you're always like this. Tu to nalayak hai. The child will turn out to be like that later on. I've heard parents saying, oh, ye pagal hai. एयरपोर्ट पे ही जाएगा. Please don't make such statements. They are harmful for the psyche of your child. Further, the 12th tip. Home is a place where the child learns everything about life. Life skills are learned at home. Today, when you go to work, when you grow up, people say, oh my God, there are no life skills. If someone commits suicide, they say no life skills. Where are these life skills learned? It's not a teacher's job. Then where do they learn it? It's not a friend's job. It's learned at home. So begin things at home. Don't put it off. Don't say my child will learn when he goes out into the world. Your responsibility is big as a parent. Should we delegate work to our children? Yes. Everything should be delegated from young. Catch them young. There are some mothers who say, oh, my children cannot cook when the marriageable age comes. You should have started that when they were young. When they are 2, 3, kids are curious. When guests come home, they say, I want to give the chai, I want to give the nashta. What do? Oh, you are too young. Don't. No, please don't do that. Even if they make a mistake, let them learn through the mistake. This is a natural stage in personality development according to Erik Erikson. Children learn what is called self-esteem. They develop a self-identity. So delegate work. Tell them there is dignity for labor. There is nothing like you can't do this job or that job. Because in Indian society, one big issue is boys should not cook. Boys should not clean. Girls, oh, you must learn cooking when you are young. It's not like that. Everybody should be trained to look after their stuff. Things like when they're young, you can teach them where to put their soiled clothes, how to get it to the washing machine. These things have to be taught. So when they're grown up, they are responsible adults. Another tip here, please give some money to your kids when they are teenagers to make a budget and run the house. That's what my mother used to do for us. I did it for my children. 1 month, one child should manage the house. Everybody should take money from the child. Child learns life skills that way. So later on, it will not be boggling, right? Coming to tip number 14, I request all parents to only preach what they practice. Many parents say, oh, my child smokes. Where did he learn this smoking? Where did he learn it? You smoked in front of him, so he smokes. Some parents say, my child tells a lie. How did that come? You told a lie, the child picked it up. Children are very smart. They are like clay. They can be easily modeled. Very easily they can be shaped. So you have to be careful with what you speak. Every little thing they follow. If you fight in front of children, disaster. Because that is where it starts. When children understand there is no security in their life and parents are fighting because their whole world is parents. And if parents are fighting, children will end up feeling terrible. And that can lead to all kinds of psychopathology. I wish to come to an end of my talk by citing an example of what we call pathological parenting. What is this? There are some parents who are very different, meaning single mothers, divorced mothers, single parenting, divorced mothers or parents. It can be same-sex parenting, or it can be something like separated parents. All these will have a terrible impact on the child's psyche. You have to handle it with the help of a counselor. Yes. Gay parenting is something which is popular in the West. And the child is confused when it sees that the mother and the father are of the same gender as the child grows. So these issues have to be addressed. Same way, adopting a child. When a child is adopted, When should we reveal to the child that we are adopted? We are parents who have adopted you. That has to be instilled. The concept of adoption has to be instilled in the child when they are young. Slowly, through movies, through dramas, through stories, you can introduce this concept of adoption so that children don't feel bad about it later on. So dear parents, parenting is a big skill. It's a huge responsibility. It's much more huge than getting a doctorate or working as a scientist. Yes, let's learn to do this job well. I will be coming up with more videos on such interesting topics. I only request one small thing from all parents. The magic mantra for parenting is: give lots and lots of unconditional love to your child. Accept them as they are. Don't drive them into something which they are not. And second, please be non-judgmental. And third, you need to have a lot of patience. Children teach us patience. That's what I have learned as a parent of two grown-up young men. Thank you.